Hey, what's going on, world? It's K Williams for Ken Chronicles Media. We got the Politicking Forum here. What's going on, Ronnie? What's going on, Kalum?
What's the
What's
deal?
good?
What's the
What's
deal,
good?
man?
Yeah.
Just want to
Man, this
chop
is
it up with y'all, man.
this is overdue, man. The
Long
pandemic.
overdue.
We need to stop doing this virtually,
Just
though.
want to
At
chop
this
it up
point,
with y'all,
man,
man. This
we
is
got to get it
overdue.
popping.
No, I believe that. I trust that. Try to chop it up with my fellas. I seen y'all been doing y'all thing, man. Ronnie been on the live circuit doing his interviews and stuff like that, short interviews, man. Man, Ronnie got a hell of a personality, man. Dude, funny. Caleb, you still swift with the camera. I see that, man. Getting better at that. Everybody growing.
hmm
Man, if you ain't growing, what you doing? You know what I mean?
Shit.
It's crazy because the last quarter of the year we went through like COVID and a bunch of bullshit, and we just like buckled down and went like stupid hard like this last like 3-4 months. And we're really like starting to see the fruits of that labor now.
Mm-hmm.
But you really got to fall in love with the process, fall in love with going through it, because that's the fun part. We look back
Cool.
at all the shit and we look forward to all the shit that we gonna do, and it's this is why we got in this shit in the first place.
And the
We were
time is
forced.
just flying, huh, Ronnie?
Yeah, man. Time is flying. We were forced to really, study our craft and dig deep, during the pandemic, and we either were gonna fold or we were gonna for surely, rise up, and that's what we did. We got back to us, and we took things more serious and got better at everything, upgraded equipment, upgraded everything, and now. Before we were scrambling when we were doing podcasts and trying to shoot every week, but now we have you know what I'm saying? We were scrambling, but
Yeah,
we
for
got a
real.
well-oiled machine now. You know what I'm saying? We got a well-oiled system that flows like the river now. So I'm proud of the progress that we made over the last year and a half, and it's promising because it's when we first started. You know what I'm saying? It's a huge difference from when we first started.
Absolutely, man. Hey, those early days, man, they were something else. Just the building blocks and just really learning the industry, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the ins and outs and stuff like that. It's been when did I start with y'all? It would have been on 2 years in April. I think I met you, Caleb, right?
Yeah,
Early
Mm-hmm.
2020, like right. It was in the pandemic actually,
during the pandemic.
and
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And for those who don't know, actually, Caleb named me Ken Chronicles, so I definitely wear that proudly, yeah, man. And like I always tell people, I mean, we've had our differences, right? But I'm forever indebted to you, man. Like for real, and I mean that because you gave me my start. I met you through Ronnie actually, and for those who don't know, me and Ronnie we worked at MTA together.
MTA, baby. MTA, that's where it started. That's where this trio right here started. MTA, man. Me and this nigga walked in. We didn't know each other. You know what I'm saying? We walk in at 6 in the morning, tired and shit. And I think we was trying to both get in the building. I think the first thing I said to this nigga was like, I can't wait to get off work. And he started rolling. He was like, nigga, we just got here. How you can't wait to get off work?
I'm like, hey, Caleb, and he
Yeah.
walked up like we was already off. Man, we actually have to work the 8 hours, man.
He
But
was
that was
already.
our early. He was already
hmm
clocked out, Caleb.
Our first day at work, first day on the job, we talking about an exit plan. You know what I'm saying? We had so many conversations. Me and Ken, we talked about what we were gonna do. As far as working for ourselves one day and owning something and going after that. This ain't us. We talked about doing it. You know what I'm saying? And Ken got up out of there pretty early. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
You
I
see,
was.
but that's rare though, because most of the niggas that you meet at the job, like they really like they looking to try to be a supervisor, they trying to solidify a spot within the company,
right.
or they want some type of promotion within the job that you in. So it's rare that you run into a nigga that actually got aspirations. Just like, yeah, nigga, I'm finna use this shit, but I ain't finna be here.
Right.
You
Exactly.
know what I'm saying? Like
Exactly.
that. That's like some destiny shit for
It
real.
was.
Yeah,
It was.
it was like a foresight, and shout out to the dude. What was his name, man? He gave us hell and high water. What was his name? The Puerto
Gary.
Rican cat. Yeah, man. I'm gonna attribute a lot of my success to dealing with dudes like him because he
Yeah.
was something else, man.
Gary was a trip.
He actually catapulted me to getting out of there. I said, you know what? It's
Yeah.
fine. It's fine. And I mean, God bless him, though. But when you look back on just where we've come from in such a, especially you and I, Ronnie, we met in 2014
Yeah.
till now. And
Yep.
then, like I said, you being the vessel to me meeting Kalum is just those early podcast days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those was crazy too, man.
It
Those
was
was real
meant to
good.
happen like this though, man. Like seriously,
Mm-hmm.
like you was at MTA for a couple of months and bounce, and we didn't have to keep in contact. You only met me for a few months, but something drew us together to where you felt like, and both of us felt like we got to continue to talk. So we continued our relationship after MTA. Then I ended up staying there a few years and quit. I ended up
Mm-hmm.
starting a podcast, ran into Calum on a Facebook post. We chopped it in the inbox for 2 seconds, and we setting up a meeting for the next day. So then me and Caleb, we get started. Everything's rough at the beginning. We fucking had run-ins ourselves, at awards and had problems and shit. And
Nigga, we
What
was
awards
on
was
the
that?
so we was doing the HAPA Awards. I didn't think Ronnie didn't know how serious I was about this shit. He thought he was just gonna show up, you know what I'm saying, talk some shit on the show. When I
man,
talked to the niggas about red carpets and like journalism, niggas was like, yeah, that's cool, but like whatever. You know what I'm saying? So when we go to the HAPA Awards, these niggas are the talent and they got the camera. And they show up late as shit. So nigga, the
But
red carpet is
that throws off all the production.
yeah,
the red carpet is halfway done. Everybody else got they position. We got stars walking up and down the red carpet, and these niggas show up wide eyed like a motherfucker. Like, what the fuck is going on? And it's like niggas is like it's 30 media outlets out there, and it's
Mm-hmm.
one star. They're doing 2 interviews. You know what I'm saying? So it's a literally when they say it's a media frenzy for the people behind the camera,
yeah,
it's a media frenzy. Now for the nigga on camera, once you get the interview in the queue, you just go into your thing. But
yep,
for the nigga that got the camera and got to solidify the shot and shoot over people and make sure audio connected and all this other shit, and there's 30 other niggas trying to get that interview while you trying to get your shit right. It was just
Mm-hmm.
like a whole different level. And I had to shoot like up and like over niggas. And I'm like, bro, like, and then these niggas was like at the back of the carpet. So niggas is like cutting in front of them. So I'm like, nigga, they like, but niggas is right there. Niggas, and I'm like, man, I don't give a fuck what you
You
got to
better
do
get
to
in there. No, you
get
better get in there.
get to the
No, for
front of the
sure.
carpet or get off the carpet because
No, for
I'm not
real.
shooting over niggas no more. Like y'all niggas came late, it's all fucked up. Nigga, we
Ronnie,
so
what did
then
you learn from that?
I learned to persevere, to not be so high headed. Like the opportunity, the moments was not over. I felt like we failed. I felt like we wasted the opportunity in the moment. But then Ronnie had his partner Tez. Tez was on the carpet. He was doing the mic. So me and this nigga, and I tell this nigga, man, get in front of the nigga or get off the carpet. So this nigga get off the carpet. We in the middle of the red carpet at a award show, having a nigga moment, looking stupid as hell, talking shit to
Arguing?
each other. Yeah, because when I told Tez to get off the carpet, we had like a stare down. And when we had like a stare down, like niggas was like pulling up your pants, like, like what finna happen? Like,
Ronnie, hey, for real, it was like a WWE. That's what we
bruh,
yeah,
had it.
bruh, it was bad, man. Like I don't know how we somehow diffused the moment, and we end
Ronnie,
up
I know exactly how. Ronnie stepped in and took the mic from Tez and was like, fuck it, if this nigga don't want to do it, I'ma do it. And Ronnie stepped right to the front of the shit. So when Ronnie stepped right to the front of the shit, I look over and Eric Bellinger right there. So I'm like, get Eric Bellinger, nigga. He like, what? I'm like, get Eric Bellinger. He turned around. This nigga, you could tell this nigga. What happened?
I didn't even know who Eric Bellinger was, bro. But I didn't. The moment was already fit. Taz was hot. K was hot. I was like, I don't even want to tell this nigga. I don't know who he is. So I'm just about to guess. So I just put it in my mind who the nigga was, and I guessed right. I went up to the nigga, was like, Eric. He was like, what's up? I was like, let's do an interview. He was like, bet. It was him and his wife. So I got a little 30-second interview with him and his wife. Never heard his music, but ended up nailing the interview anyway. It ended up working out.
That was this nigga first red carpet interview.
Yeah.
Eric
Was you
Bellinger
sweating?
and his wife.
What was you sweating?
You know what? I really wasn't, because I was ready. I just needed to get the opportunity. I just want to know how it felt. I was only like a little nervous because I didn't know his music, so I didn't want to say nothing stupid to piss him off. But other than that,
right,
it was,
exactly.
I
gotta come do a red carpet with y'all, man.
You definitely do, bro. You definitely do.
I gotta get out there. I just been so busy lately with YBI, man. They doing their thing. Shows, music coming out. Man, they got a song called Belichick that's about to drop on Friday, actually. So just doing the exclusive thing for them and just writing and yeah, man. Just start writing for Grindface too.
Oh yeah.
So how did that come about?
Damn.
So Kalum, you and I, we have conversations about writing for different people, really putting our brands out there. Kalum is Resource 101, right?
Right.
For real. So man, I just took your advice, man, and I just started reaching out. So I went on the website first, did some research and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, I saw different writing styles. I go, okay, I'm a fit pretty much. So I reached out and he was receptive to it. So I'm like 4 to 5 articles in. I actually got to publish one now. And Meg Thee Stallion and her boyfriend, Party, he just recently took to Instagram, just clearing up names of physical abuse and stuff like that. He said that they're rocking well and stuff like that. But yeah, the Grindface Connect is cool, man. Shout out to Grindface, man.
Shout out to Grindface, man.
Grindface it's a pretty big platform, man.
It definitely
is. He's been out his shit for a minute. I know. I've been looking at Grindface for years.
Right.
But you didn't even.
That's the town's finest. You know what I'm saying? That's P-Town. I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah, we've been writing for TG Sports, so we didn't. We've been focusing more on the sports, so we got sport credentials through them. So we got the opportunity to cover the Big 12. So it's just at UCLA and USC games.
How was that?
It's
bruh. That shit, bruh. Like,
where can I read the article? When is it published?
I'll send it to you. It was a women's game, so never really watched the women's game from that angle. Watching it on the floor is a lot different than watching.
It's a lot faster.
It's a lot. It's the women's game. The biggest difference is they are so much more fundamental. Not saying their skills are better, but they don't have the athleticism and the ability to jump 10 feet in the air and shit. So they gotta be fundamental. And watching them, the USC and UCLA women's game, it was beautiful. And our jobs as reporters is to watch the game and report. So literally, while you're watching the game, you got your laptop or your phone, whatever you're writing on, and you type in that's how I was doing, typing as I go. Type what I see, report. At the end of the night, you do your spell check, go in the media room, go get your interviews, and man, I just feel like I was in heaven. Like that's what it feels like when you working and you feel like it's not really work. You feel me?
Good, man.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Ken. Is like the hip hop and all that is cool, but once you get into one of these like locker rooms, once you get on one of these like sporting events, it's like a whole different feeling. It's like, for me at least, I know that it was like really sparked my interest the most in the journalism field, because hip hop, you're like underappreciated. They don't understand the value that you bring to the market. They don't understand the value that you bring to their brand and their awareness. But brands like the NCAA, brands like the NBA, the top brands, they understand that. the media is the pulse of how they get the information out to the people, and that they need the media half the time more than they need the players. If I get rid of every player and then I sign a bunch of new players, as long as I
That's
got
a
a
new
thousand,
story.
as long as I got 1,000 media outlets reporting on these new players,
Right.
2 years from now, the media is going to swallow up all the information, and the old shit is going to be out the way.
Right.
Media
Yeah.
controls media controls everything, and
Right.
this is why everybody want to be podcasters, and everybody want to just dive into podcasting without
Man,
a, a, a
let's
plan.
get into that in a second, man. We're gonna talk about that podcast down the line. I want y'all opinion on it, but to express more on what y'all said, man, yeah, the hip hop journalism is it's rough, man. It's rough. But I'm not limited to just hip hop journalism. That's just where the bread and butter is, and just like my close relationships from a
Mm-hmm.
writing perspective. But I do culinary. I could political, like anything. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, hip hop is especially y'all because like you still do it, Ron. You still delve into it, and then
Yeah.
Kalum, that's where you built your platform pretty much on hip hop. So yeah, man, it's. But you know what, man? It's a love hate relationship. Um, I love writing more than I love being a hip hop journalist. I just like writing.
Mhm.
Right.
You
Like,
see,
you know what I'm saying?
but hip hop is what they refer to as the rap game, and when you dabble into hip hop journalism, you're entering into a game. So now we have to enter into the rap game to be a hip hop journalist. And I'm
Right.
not interested in the rap game. I could be a rapper.
You don't like music?
I do like music, but the actual politics and all the bullshit that come with being in the rap industry per se, comes with the territory. So it's like in sports journalism, none of that shit exists.
So where do you
And
think the
doing
politics? Where do you think the politics gonna come from sports journalism? Because there's politics and everything. What y'all
well
think?
in politics, but the the intentions. They have a brand. They're trying to push their brand, and if your brand aligns with their brand, then they can do business. It's strictly business relationships. With hip hop, man, it's like everybody's trying to get over on everybody. It's like a crab in a bucket mentality. So even when you help somebody or you do a favor for somebody, they they look at it as if they should, like they're entitled to that.
Yeah.
I'm the rapper, so you should want to shoot my video. I'm the rapper, so you should want to interview me. I'm the rapper, so you should want to write up on me.
I go through that all
No,
the time.
just
And
because
then
you're the rapper,
Man,
like
on
what? That's
yeah.
crazy.
On top of that, then you do the shit and they don't understand that, bro, you have to make this a post on your page. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
and
I
tag
promote
you.
and tag me. I promote, you promote. You know what I'm saying? Like make it a post on your page. And it ain't you're not doing me a favor. You know what I'm saying?
Work
Like,
together.
yeah, exactly. Like so it's I mean, it's with the rap game, you gotta be very intentional with what you want to do. You gotta have an end game with it because it ain't the end all be all. It is something that we grew up on and we're familiar with. We grew up on hip hop and hip hop raised us, you know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why we got so much of a close connection, not to mention having so many homies that do it or niggas that that do it. So, it is dope to get on camera and chop it up with them and get together and do things, but I don't think it's the end all be all. It's just I have something that I want to get out of it. I'm gonna get what I got out of it, and then what I'm saying it's on to the next.
hmm
So,
hmm
you know,
Could it be my end all be all? It depends on what type of relationships I continue to garner.
hmm
Once those relationships begin to dilapidate, I'm done. So I can
right,
move to. I can write about anything, literally. You know what I'm
But then
saying?
you look,
So
you say that, but then you look in the rap game, and it's like, who is an example of a hip hop journalist that made it to a point where you would be like, okay, that's like the mountaintop?
hold on, real quick. This is a
Because
guy I follow right now. I'll tell you. I mean, you got B dot.
Yeah, I was gonna say B
I mean,
dot
you got yeah. I mean, you got.
and
I'm just throwing this name out there. I mean, yeah, it's plenty. I mean, yeah,
you see,
for sure.
but because they're plugged in with title, like what
No,
makes
I mean they just get all the marquee interviews, and they're exceptional writers, and that's who I model myself behind. See, like as I'm coming up grassroots, um, I already approached the game industry standard. That's why I don't curse in my interviews. And a lot of people ask me, they say, "Hey, Ken, why you don't?" Because there needs to be a clear, like it needs to be a distinction between the way I articulate and who I'm talking to. So I don't control the artists who I'm talking to. Sure, be themselves. Like that's your brand. You might be from a different part of the world. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I'm okay with that. But I need to articulate a certain way to be able to get the message across and be able to get my questions out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, it's just something I picked up along watching, Elliot Wilson and B Dot. You know what I'm saying? I'm just throwing. I could throw out a whole lot more, but yeah, there's a model. There's a model to follow, just like in any industry. So that's why my
Mhm.
interviews will continue to be squeaky clean. I would never, whatever I do, I'm coming to work when it comes to my interview. So yeah.
Definitely, man. Definitely, I feel that for sure.
All right,
But everybody got their own style though, right?
Yeah.
so Ronnie, what's your show? I know you started off just like me with a panel, and then now you moved into these interviews, and your personality just fits it much better than it really fit me. It was kind of like a forced thing for me. And, it was like I do it, I
Yeah.
will,
Yeah.
Are
because
you
it's
not
part of the
outgoing, Caleb?
it's part of the game. I think that I think that I, I'm very outgoing, but at the same time, I'm jaded. I gave a lot of love out to a lot of people, and a lot of it wasn't returned. And then
Right.
a lot of that turned into bitterness and animosity, and then that bitterness and animosity turned into motivation. You know what
Right.
I'm
And that
saying?
came from hip
And
hop. That
then,
came from hip hop, huh?
and yeah, and then at the same time, that motivation, even though it fuels me and it gives me that extra up to get in them doors that somebody else might not. At the same time, it's like when I celebrate, it's like, yeah, show y'all niggas. And it's like, what? Like, and so it's like serendipity. It's like good and bad. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I really been, even though, Ronnie's like on fire in this like hip hop industry. So if it wasn't for Ronnie, I probably wouldn't even really dabble into the hip hop shit. I would just throw my events every blue moon, maybe 2, 3 events a year just to make my money and exist in the space. And I
Right.
would focus my shit elsewhere because black people really don't support black people until you own.
Right.
And,
Facts.
Oh
and that's
well,
just
yeah,
the
of course.
culture.
Yeah, yeah. I go
And
through it, Ronnie. I know you go through it.
yeah, completely. Completely,
Yeah,
man.
like being when Ronnie, when you got that Beano interview, I know you was on like a high, but I
Yeah.
know after that same high came with that bitterness that I'm talking about. When
Yeah.
people are congratulating you, it don't feel like congratulations. You know what I mean? Like I know you saying congratulations, but the way I feel inside, it feel like hate.
It was like, okay, we've been doing this shit, posting our shit for the last consistently for the last year and a half to 2 years. And I get I've done many interviews, since then. Red carpet interviews, rappers, podcast interviews. So
Hmm.
when I post the Beano one or the what's his name from All American,
Um,
Preach.
preach.
Preach from All American or Big U, then it's, oh, you doing big things. But it's like, huh? So just because the person that I'm speaking to in the interview changes, that means I'm suddenly doing big things. I've been
Yeah,
doing
that's
it.
the perception. That's the
You know what I'm
perception, bro.
saying? Like, so is that a compliment? Like, what you mean I'm doing big things? I do this shit all the time. So just because I'm talking to Bino or Big U or Preach, that means I'm doing big things. Like
But
that's
that does
it's
kind of matter, though, Ronnie. Ronnie, that does
yeah,
kind of matter because it's a
yeah, I
status
get it.
thing.
I get it, but at the same time, if you ain't saying nothing on none of my other posts or complimented anything else I was doing at any point in time, and you only want to compliment when you think that I made it or made some type of milestone, that's like weird to me. You know?
I don't know. For me, you garner real relationships, and when you get real love from real people, like I get real love from y'all niggas. That's why I fuck with y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get the fake love, it's so much different than when you go deal with somebody else and you deal with somebody that you get real love from. Then you like, uh, it makes when you receiving real love, it makes it hard to accept the fake love from the other motherfuckers because you
Of
feel it
course.
feels different. You feel it immediately when they give it to you.
Yeah,
Of course.
exactly.
There's a lot of fake love in this industry. I mean, but what I do is I just cherish the relationships that are golden.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the gift of discernment, so I pray for that all the time, man. To be honest with you, just to be able to read people and make sure that their intentions are good for me.
Right.
Um, Stepping into sports, but back to sports, I think that was a good decision because you guys are already going into a culture that's already thriving and it's $1 billion industry as opposed to hip hop where it's a hustle game first. So I'm actually hustling with the artists coming up. You guys are covering stuff that's already established, so to speak. So yeah, man. I mean,
I think
hey,
that
save a spot for me over there.
You
the
got
I,
one, bro.
For
I
real.
think that the Draco the Ruler thing really sparked that because we were kind of like, but we were on fire doing a bunch of hip hop stuff. We were doing the
Hmm.
Industry Thursdays up there with DJ Head and them. So it was kind of like we were on fire with hip hop. And then when that shit happened at the with Draco the Ruler, it's really like, okay, well, you got to plan for the future. In the future, this hip hop stuff is kind of gonna have to come to a halt because you can't have 10 rappers die in 3 months and people not crack down on shit. And because everybody's walking around with masks on because of COVID, it's almost impossible to identify these people.
Yeah.
So that's why they say LA is like the purge right now. It's because everybody is doing crimes and getting away with it.
Hmm. Yeah, those masks
So,
make it hard to breathe, man.
Yeah.
mhm.
Hard to breathe and hard to catch.
Man, you know what, man? Like now I find myself actually breathing in a different rhythm when I don't have the mask on.
Yeah,
I
Mhm.
hate it.
definitely.
Y'all
The
tired of the
max.
pandemic?
How about what? Tired of it?
Y'all, yeah, y'all tired of it, man.
Man, I'm more than tired of it, man. It's just so crazy, man. So many rules and shit keep changing and different rules and different strands and schools and it's just got everything out of whack, man. And I'm just tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of people catching it and dying and all this type of shit. This shit is crazy, man. I'm tired of this shit. I'm ready for it to be over. But I understand this is the world we live in. This is a part of life right now. So we just gotta do what we can to get through it.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
Just I don't think nobody enjoys the pandemic. A lot of people are profiting off of the pandemic, but as far as the lifestyle they got to live within these confines, nobody's enjoying this shit.
Mm.
It's
Do
retarded.
you feel like business wise, do you guys feel like you guys were able to thrive through the pandemic, or was there any bonuses financially for you guys? Because for me, um, I built my company in,
Yeah.
so Yeah.
It
Yeah.
it kind of actually was a blessing for us in disguise
Yeah.
Okay.
because we had a studio in San Bernardino and we had just moved out. So we
Mm-hmm.
had no brick and mortar per se, like technically you had. And then when it went virtual, everything went virtual because of the pandemic. The need to have a studio to produce content to continue making shit was no longer necessary. Niggas could get on their phones and their laptops just like we are right now and keep the content rolling. And it
Mm-hmm.
opened up a whole new door where now it was like, okay, now we're strictly online, so now we're virtual. So then we went and we started to learn live streaming. And that led us into producing a series of live stream concerts
Mm-hmm.
for so and then hustling we end up getting into this building that we're located at now and provided us
Riverside,
with a
right?
new
Mm-hmm.
with a new home and a new location
Mm-hmm.
dealing with our own people. It's black owned, black run, and it was just a whole blessing in disguise in the beginning because for me I had just started to go into sports. I was doing a black owned newspaper. I had just got into the XFL. That was um my first thing as far as sports journalism was covering
Mm-hmm.
the LA Wildcats. And I was on the sidelines, I was in the press box, I was in the locker room, I was in the media room, press conference after. And I'm like, nobody told us about this. Why has nobody told us about journalism? Nobody ever mentioned this to me. Like, why don't, and I was there by myself. And then the other people that were there, you think they were black men? No, they were older white guys.
Yep.
So when it came to, let me ask you a question. So when it came to you learning journalism and you learning that's an avenue, um, really, really for media, whose tutelage did you go up under?
I have no specific mentor. Everything that I do is self learned and self taught.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing a podcast and I had just got the studio in San Bernardino and a dude walked in and gave me a quote on doing my floor because it was concrete floor. And I just got the floor level and we wanted to lay some like wood paneling. And we bought the material and I just needed to do to lay it. And he came
Mm-hmm.
in and he was giving me a quote and he had a press pass on his neck. And the whole time he talking, I'm looking at him and he talking too much and his price is too much. So I'm not even interested in what he's talking about. The whole time I'm like, all right, that's cool. I'll be in touch. But what is that on your neck? And he like, oh, this, I'm just coming from the CIF championship game, blah, blah, bam. I do sports journalism for Max Prep. And I'm like, you do sports journalism for Max Prep? And he like, yeah, you see how they write on the
Right.
articles that they write about the students and stuff? That's what I do. I go around and I watch high school CIF games and then I write about them on Max Prep
And it was like
and
ding,
get
ding,
paid.
ding, ding, ding.
Now, I'm one of them niggas like awareness, that's my skill. I can walk in, watch you for 10 minutes and get your whole game. And this is why I give out so much games because I soak up too much information that I might not even have the skill set to do, but I know how to do it. And if I get that to you with your skill set and this information, that might be the thing that changed your life. But I can't do
Absolutely.
nothing by holding that information. So for me, I just was like, you know what? I talked to him. He was like, how do you get your press pass? Like, you got to register. I'm like, how do you register? He's like, well, you got to for the county of San Bernardino, you got to go to the sheriff's department so that they can run your background check, and then after that, you apply with your company at uh, the registry office, and you register your company as a press media news outlet, and then you can get your own credentials and get your own press pass. So I'm like, look, man, that sounds good, but you know the process, and I want how much it's gonna cost for you to get me my press pass and teach me how to use it. So he like, oh man, it ain't gonna be cheap. So I'm like, man, well, whatever. So he charged me $800. Charged me three
Okay.
hundred for to get the press pass and 500 to sit down and break down. And at the time, nigga, I was paying for the studio. I was building it. I had just left work on disability, so I was getting disability check. I couldn't afford the 800, but that information felt like it was too golden, and if I got to be broke for a little bit, the information was worth more than the moment.
Wait, so initially you hopped in the journalism game through sports, and then you jumped to hip hop, and now you back to sports.
Yeah,
Okay, okay, okay.
exactly. So,
And then Ronnie,
well,
you
no, no.
do. Mhm.
Actually, no, I didn't jump. My first thing that I did was the BT Awards. So,
Okay,
uh, so, so I got my press pass. It was about a 30-day process, and I got my press pass on a Tuesday, and the BET weekend was on that Friday. And he sat down and he showed me how to go through and get the media contact and get the application and apply for credentials. And when I applied and I did that for my first try with BET and got accepted. So I'm just at the
okay.
BET Awards. I'm at the whatever the celebrity basketball game. I'm at the panel conversations, and I'm just like, this is it. So it went from so that's when politicking went from a podcast to a company. That's when it was like, okay, let me sit down, come up with a business model. Let me figure this out because I need to be a news media outlet. I already didn't register the company as one. I already
And then
didn't.
that's when you started recruiting, huh? That's when you went out and you met Ronnie,
I
and
now when I started my podcast, I had it was a round table debate. We literally sat at a round table in my living room and debated politicking at the round table. That was my whole thought process of, hey, we homies, but we don't really talk about nothing serious. We just shoot the shit and talk shit. So when you bring up these serious subjects like politics or like religion or like you might kick it with a nigga 20 years but don't know where he stand on religion. You might kick it with a nigga 20 years and not know where he stand on politics. So it was like, okay, let's start a platform where we sit and we talk about this shit that we don't usually talk about. And I did that shit out my living room with smoking and drinking and talking shit. You know what I'm saying? And
oh
literally,
yeah.
if you look at like the first episodes, niggas literally would like get to the point where niggas would stand up and like scream at each other, and a lot of those conversations got like real heated, and it was like, damn, you don't understand how passionate niggas is, and you don't understand necessarily who the person is that you sitting next to. You bring up
Well, no, especially when you start disagreeing with each other. Absolutely not.
uh, like
Seriously.
we had an episode where we brought up snitching, and it was like six niggas at the table, and I was the only nigga like, nah, fuck that. You kill a nigga in front of me, you rob a nigga in front of me. I ain't see shit. I ain't
See,
saying
that's too
shit.
many personalities though at one table though.
Yeah, It
That
was,
was that was bound
but
for destruction.
but for me, it wasn't about that. It was the fact that it was six of us at the table, and I'm the only nigga that said, and the other five niggas that I'm sitting with was like, "Oh nah, you do some shit in front of me," and they asked me, "Nigga, I'm telling," and I'm like, "Wait,
And you
who the
said you
fuck am?"
wouldn't.
And I was the only one that said I wouldn't, and I'm looking around like, "Who the fuck am I surrounding myself with? What
Well,
kind of?"
wait. Okay, wait, hold on. So let me understand this. So I get the question. So you're saying that? Say it again. I want
So
to understand your stance.
we were
No, what's your
debating.
stance? What's your stance on
I
snitching? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
they were saying that if you were just an innocent bystander that witnessed something and the police jam you up and you tell because you're not a gangster and you're not entangled in the gangster lifestyle that that is not snitching and that they're not subjugated to not tell because they're not a gangster and they don't have to live by your code. But I'm
Right.
and my stance was yes, that is true. But the moment that you tell on a gangster, you entangle yourself into the gangster lifestyle, and now you endanger yourself. Well, what comes with that? Because you don't understand the gangster lifestyle. Now you entangled yourself in a web of shit that you don't even fully understand.
Well, there's
It,
involvement
it,
at that point, of course, because you told.
if you're the
Yeah, I
little
get it.
boy and you drive riding your bike down the street and they shoot the dude in front of you and the police ask you what you seen and you tell the police, yeah, you're not a snitch. I'm not saying you are. But
But
now,
you're still
after you
involved at
told
that
them,
point,
and
of
now
course.
when you ride your bike down the street and you done told on that nigga brother or that nigga cousin or that nigga big homie or little homie, now when they see you riding your bike down the street, oh, there go the little snitch nigga. Now they gonna fuck you up, and now you're entitled to what comes with that because
You're a
you
target.
told on somebody within the lifestyle. The
Right. But
mafia.
doesn't that but that snitch the snitch moniker doesn't that isn't that normally applicable to people who live the the gang banging lifestyle?
Okay, but I'm not saying nothing about the moniker of being called a snitch. I'm talking about the repercussions. Whether you called a snitch
Oh
or
well,
not,
yeah, you're gonna be
the
known as that.
the end result is the same. So if I'm gonna be treated as if I'm such, then I need to approach
Act
it
like that.
in what? Yeah.
I said that you need to act as such. I don't know, man.
Hmm.
For me, I think a little opposite. Um, yeah, I don't. If I see some stuff, but it's not a matter of anything that has to do with anything street. I'm gonna assess
Hmm.
the situation just based off of what's gonna be more beneficial for my survival. You understand what I'm saying? So I think for me, it's subjective because I feel like there's no real one way to answer that. I don't know because somebody
Hmm.
could throw another scenario at you, Caleb, and your whole paradigm will shift when they come to this. I'm just saying it could. I'm just saying it could. It might not, but it
I
could.
understand. I'm speaking in context of me and my life. I'm not gonna be looking over my shoulder my whole life because I didn't entangle myself in some shit that got nothing to do with me. And at the same time, a lot of like the Draco the ruler, they all these people were present, but you got no witnesses. You got nobody coming forth with any information. Now, do I think that that's right? No. But is that the game? Yes, unfortunately, that's where the game is. And if you choose to play the game, then you have to play the game by the rules. You don't get to make the rules. If you watch Jumanji, the whole time they got stuck in the game, the nigga was stuck in the game for 30 years because he didn't want to play. The
Isn't that
moment
a
that he
fictional story though, man?
yes, but the moral of the story is that you can't run from your problems. If you in the game and you decide to play the game and roll the dice, you got to play it to the end. Them niggas got stuck in the game trying not to play the game and had to play the game to get out the game. If you
You
get
gotta
in the
play it.
game, you got to play the game to get out the game.
Yeah,
You
you got
can't get in the
exactly.
game and then just stop playing the game. No, you got in the game. So now you stuck in it. You got to play the game to get out the game.
Yeah, just like
Hey.
LeBron, huh, Ronnie? What's up with your favorite player?
Oh man, this week. Oh man, so I'm a always do what I do about Brian and keep it just a straight buck. Like I'm not gonna overly praise him, and I'm not going to not downplay what he's done and what he does, with the game. So what I've seen this year from LeBron is, I think, as far as his offensive bag is probably at its deepest right now. He's able to pull up from deep and knock down threes. His mid range is solid. Um, his skills have gotten him better offensively, but
Where's the but?
but um, it's not affecting the game like it used to. So Bron getting 35, 11, and 7 5 years ago, that's a W 90% of the time, because that 35, 11, and 7 impacted the game so much differently than it does now. Now he's putting in with lesser players as well. Like he had a Cavs team with, he had a Kevin Love, but it looks similar to this team, without AD. And they were still winning basketball games because his numbers were impacting the game a little bit more. Now I think at this point more than ever, LeBron's not chasing wins; he's chasing Wilt's scoring record, and he's chasing stats and accolades because he knows for a fact that he's chasing Michael Jordan, who's considered the GOAT, and he's not getting 6 rings. The Lakers are not winning a ring this year, and the Lakers won't win another ring with LeBron because they built a bad roster. Russell Westbrook is terrible. He's a terrible fit with LeBron. And the Lakers have a bunch of old players that don't play defense, and they're a bottom 5 defense. So people keep saying, "Oh, AD gets back; they're going to get better." AD is coming off of another injury. AD wasn't looking good before he got hurt, and AD is not going to take a team from a bottom 5 defense to
Not
a
at
top.
this point.
At this point, so I think they don't have the pieces. LeBron, he doesn't. He's still good. He's still a top 5 player offensively for sure.
Absolutely.
Defense is terrible, but he's a top 5 player offensively right now.
Mm-hmm.
But his offense don't translate to impact on the game as much as it used to. So I think the Lakers are done, and I think LeBron, as far as winning championships, is done. But can LeBron still put up numbers late in he probably could put up these type of numbers till he's 40. But is it?
How did you feel about?
Feel about who?
How did you feel about the Westbrook acquisition?
I said
How did you feel about that initially?
When they first got Russell Westbrook, I said that is a disaster. That is destruction. All the Laker fans were pumped and, oh my God, we got Russ. Everyone wants to see star power. You can't just throw 3 players together and say, oh, we got 3 super.
I think it was because the Lakers didn't have no money and everybody was leaving, and because they were so far in the luxury tax that them niggas really couldn't do shit. And this is why they traded for Russ and got rid of everybody that had high big contracts to accommodate the trade for Russ so that they could get rid of that salary. And then what do? They pick everybody up on league minimums. I think it was definitely a money play, and that they was broke. They was too deep in the luxury tax. They just paid LeBron and AD to keep them so that they could stop being on these 1-and-1 deals where they could opt out every year. So they chose to be broke so that they could solidify LeBron and AD in LA for the next few years.
Well, the Lakers are never broke. First of all, they're
But no, but
so
the luxury tax, you can only go so far
right.
into the
But
luxury tax,
the
and
Lakers,
that's why they have niggas like Melo, like Avery Bradley, like Trevor Ariza. All these niggas are on 1 year league minimums because that's all they could afford.
well, since they went up on the luxury tax, I mean, the Lakers have gone over the luxury tax routinely for the last 20 years. they know they can when they know they're going to win. It's going to pay off. But this year, actually, the Buddy Hield deal was done. Kuzma had an interview and said that he already got a call and said he was going to the Kings. It was done. Bron and AD got on a plane and went to go visit Russ to recruit Russ and told Pelinka to hold off on signing, or getting getting Buddy Hield because they want Russ. So they went and talked to Russ, and that's when they came back and did the Russ. The Buddy Hield was a Laker. Kuzma said he was going to Sacramento. So Bron and AD manipulated that whole play and was able to get the Lakers to pull the trigger on a Russ deal, which was what I'm telling people. Okay, Russ and Bron play the same exact way. Bron is just better than Russ. Russ is a lesser Bron. He fills up the stat sheet, points, rebounds, assists, ball dominant, high usage rate. Bron's jump shot is way better than Russ's. Russ can't shoot free throws. Russ can't play off the ball. Russ is a horrible defensive player. Russ can't shoot mid-range. Russ is a terrible acquisition to go with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. He's completely useless if LeBron has the ball. So I just looked at it like defensively, they're horrible at the one with Russ. At the two, they're undersized. At the three, Bron doesn't defend anymore. He can't score 30 and defend. He's 37. He can't do that no more. So Bron's horrible defensively.
So I got a question. You saying the point guard? You think that it was stupid for them to trade Rondo? Because they had Rondo, and now they're looking for a point guard. They got all type of niggas playing point guard now. And you got LeBron playing center. Well, you had a point guard.
Well,
now
Rondo.
Go ahead.
Rondo is. I love Rondo, but he was never going to be your starting point guard. Rondo could be your point guard that give you a good 20 minutes off the bench, 18 minutes. The person they got rid of, who they shouldn't have got rid of, who was not going to cost that much money, was Caruso.
And he played defense.
He played defense. He was the top defender at point guard. He could shoot. He got ups. He plays hard. Between Rondo and Caruso, they could have split time. They really shouldn't have got rid of Lonzo, but he had to go for AD. But Caruso was a bigger loss than Rondo. If they had Caruso right now, at least they could defend at the guard spot. Right now,
absolutely, I agree.
They can't defend nobody in a perimeter, and then they have nobody with size down low. Dwight's a big goofy dummy who's not as athletic.
DeAndre Jordan.
DeAndre Jordan is terrible. He was. I don't know how he's still playing. The man is horrible. DeAndre Jordan is terrible. Dwight is terrible. He can't shoot free throws. They have no size. They have nothing. The Lakers are just they're gonna get bounced out the first round if they make it, man. I'm not getting excited off of no Utah win or no other win. The Lakers can't defend anybody. LeBron can't take over. He's not Jordan. He's not Kobe. He's as good as
is it rebuild? Okay. Is it rebuild time? Is it
rebuild
time?
I don't think it's rebuild time. I think that
yes,
the Lakers are notoriously famous for making big trades in the middle of the season, and LeBron is notoriously famous for getting rid of niggas in the middle of the season. Something's gonna happen.
No,
something's gonna happen.
The Lakers are cornered, man. They have no more moves. Who no one wants Russ. They owe Russ $92 million over the next 2 years. Nobody is paying Russ $92 million over the next 2 years. Okay. The Lakers.
Why you do that, LeBron?
They traded away all their young assets. They have no assets. Who wants Monk in all these? Who wants these guys? Nobody wants them. They have no more draft picks over the next 4 years. The Lakers are done, bro. There's Anthony Davis is an aging star who can't stay on the floor. What the fuck are the Lakers gonna do? They have no more moves. That's why Magic is talking shit. The Lakers have no more moves. That franchise don't know what they're doing. Rob Pelinka don't know what he's doing. Jim Buss.
They got about he's the GM of a championship team, so you can't say,
bro.
It's a bubble championship.
No, I'm not discounting the championship. Okay, just because you win one championship, you can't. If someone wins a championship, don't mean no. You got
a championship gives you a 5-year window, and what is this, year 3?
That's what I disagree with for a GM. You got LeBron.
A 5-year window for what?
After a GM wins a championship before.
Bro, you're supposed to win a championship if you got LeBron and AD. You're supposed to win the championship. When you got two of the top 3 players in the game at the time, when LeBron
see,
and
but
AD
as a GM, it's your job to make that happen. So technically,
no,
he gets the credit for signing LeBron, even though
Bron was
Magic
coming
flew
here.
him out. But still, the GM gets the credit. It's his job to put the team together. So whether okay, but this is a business. I think that we get caught in feelings. At the same time, a business has structure. My job is to put the team together. So whether you're LeBron, whether you're the coach, whether you're the owner, at the end of the day, you have to come to me to solidify the spot on the roster. So no matter what happened, how they came through, Rob Pelinka had to do it and he's like the notary. He had to notarize the trade. He had to make it official. So everything that happens with the Lakers is Rob Pelinka's fault.
And I agree with that. So I'm saying he sucks because he didn't have to pull a bunch of strings to get LeBron. LeBron goes where he wanted to. LeBron knew he wanted to come to LA. That had nothing to do with what Rob Pelinka was doing. So when LeBron got to LA, of course the Lakers have drafted over the years. They have made some good draft choices. Julius Randle, Lonzo Ball, D'Angelo Russell, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, Josh Hart, I think. A bunch of these other players that they were able to trade and get AD. That didn't take no special skill. Like AD was going to come to the Lakers. That's people don't know. AD was going to sign the next year. They did not have to trade all those players. AD was coming next year as a free agent.
So you saying the Lakers are just the prime destination, and Rob Pelinka is just benefiting off of getting the prime job?
Absolutely. Rob Pelinka ain't going to go to Denver and build no team like that.
You see, but what about his resume? How he built up his shit with Kobe.
I love
to get him in this position.
I love Kobe.
You can't just throw away everything he did to get to this point.
I can because he squandered the future. The Lakers are done. Are you hearing me? There's no more draft picks. There's no more moves. No one wants Russell Westbrook. No one wants anybody on that trash roster. How are the Lakers are going to get better over the next couple of years?
There were some bad decisions made. There were some bad decisions made, Kalum. Trust me.
Yeah, true. But somebody's going to take, not this year, but somebody's going to take Westbrook when he got 1 year left on that deal.
Okay, so after that, what's the plan? Who's going to come up? LeBron is.
Because even if they got to dump him, they're going to buy him out just like they did Melo.
Right.
And then Russell Westbrook is going to end up like Melo, blackballed, where it's like, he better than niggas. Why ain't he in the league? And they're going to be like, nobody wants this nigga.
Nobody, because Westbrook is cool. Westbrook will probably go to a losing franchise. And like I said, I don't try to downplay Russ. Russ can go to a losing franchise and get them regular season wins. He can with the ball in his hands, he looks trash right now because he's playing with LeBron and ball dominant players, especially if you can't shoot. Kyrie was able to thrive because Kyrie could still shoot. And Bron trusted Kyrie to have a ball in his hands, especially in clutch moments. Bron knew he had a dog in Kyrie. Dwayne Wade wasn't the greatest shooter, but LeBron trusted that D-Wade, once he got D-Wade to rock, he trusted D-Wade was going to do the right thing with the rock. Russ, on the other hand, you think Bron trusts Russ with the rock?
I mean, no. Bron went and got him, so he got to have some type of trust.
But Bron realized
it wasn't for shooting.
It was so the point I'm trying to make is Russ on another team controlling the ball, having the ball in his hands. Yeah, he could probably go to a Minnesota or something and make the playoffs, maybe get an eighth seed like Russ is like. But if you were looking for Russ to be the missing piece on the championship roster with a LeBron James, with an Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook is not that guy. He's not that guy.
What's interesting about the Laker organization is they can fall at 500 and they can still be a hot topic in the media. It seems like people analyze and critique them exactly.
Yeah.
Why are we not talking about the Suns?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I think that nobody talks about the Suns because they lost last year to Giannis. But you had a prime example. You had a prime
They're
reason.
still very believable, though.
Yeah, they are very believable, but
they're not believable.
Yes, they are. They got a year more experience.
Yeah,
they got a year more camaraderie. Their system is running. You got a year more in that system. It's not about that. It's about the younger kids emerging. It's about the younger
and Chris Paul develops players.
The younger cats.
Chris Paul,
yes,
develops players.
So let me ask you guys a question. Do you think Phoenix get out of that first round series against LA last year if Anthony Davis don't go down? Fuck no.
No.
So
No,
Phoenix, I don't believe they have to prove it. Then they faced the Clipper team without Kawhi Leonard and almost lost. Paul George blew free throws on 2 straight games, which would have eliminated Phoenix without Kawhi Leonard.
Running. Hypotheticals don't matter. You know that.
No.
They
See,
still
but these
lost.
are I feel you on hypotheticals, but these are
You see
legit.
that this is when we
Team,
this is when we always go back and forth.
no, but look. All I'm saying is I need to see Phoenix again. Even Milwaukee, I need to see Milwaukee again. They win the game on a toe.
No, I don't think you need to see. I think you're looking at it from a skewed perception. If you look at why do you need to see Milwaukee again?
No,
you
I'm
need
not
to see some. No, look at. But this is my. If you need to see Milwaukee again, why don't you believe Milwaukee? Tell me somebody in the East that you believe better than Milwaukee because they already proved it. So who you believe over them?
Healthy, the Nets.
I think. Okay.
They can't beat the Nets with Kyrie and James Harden.
Okay, but so now you need. So now your perception is that you believe in the Nets, so you need to see the Nets pull because they already got the spot. Milwaukee already just went. They're at the top of the spot. So if you believe the Nets is the people, the next one up, then they got to take the spot from the person that's on the throne,
and
that's Milwaukee. Will. So Milwaukee don't need you to believe. The Nets is the one that needs you to believe in them.
They beat the Nets in 7 games with a fat, out of shape, cobbled James Harden, who was a shell of himself, and Kevin Durant damn near eliminated them. He had a toenail on the line for the 3. He had them beat.
That was crazy.
So that's what I'm saying. So I have to see
the Nets. The Nets will win the championship this year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Nets, they're not losing in Milwaukee, and then Phoenix. Like I said, I love Devin Booker. DeAndre Ayton is a stud coming up. Chris Paul, never trusted him.
He's surprised. Ayton he surprised me coming up.
He's a beast, man. He's fundamental. He's dope. But I don't know. I don't think they're beat. Chris Paul has always came up short. We were just talking about this yesterday, Kalum. Chris Paul has always gave short against Steph Curry. If the Golden State Warriors are healthy and there's no injuries and it's Phoenix against Golden State, there's no way I'm picking Chris Paul against Steph Curry. No way.
So early prediction, who y'all got in the finals?
Warriors and the Nets.
Okay. I'll go with that.
Yeah, I have to stick with that.
Who wins?
Right now?
How many games is it going to win?
I think that the Nets win in 6.
See, this is a tough one for me because Kyrie is half. He's not playing at home. And the Golden State Warriors are a great road team. So if Kyrie is not playing at home, I don't know if they're going to win those home games against Golden State.
That's why I said the Nets in 6 is because Golden State is going to have the better record and they're going to have the home court advantage. And if it got to go to 7, they ain't going to win them niggas. So all I got to do is protect home court and win one game on the road. I think Kevin Durant and James Harden in shape this year can pull out one in Golden State and get it done. Kyrie, because Kyrie's gonna be freshly rested,
he's gonna go off.
The moment that the game opens up, Kyrie is just gonna go ham.
Kyrie's going ham for sure.
Because especially
start back over because I lost y'all.
We talking about the playoffs. We're talking about Golden State, and he said that if it goes 7, I'm like, if it goes 7, of course Golden State's gonna win. But if it goes 6,
Steph Curry.
If it goes 6, I feel like Durant in a Harden in shape this time can get one in Golden State. And with Kyrie Irving playing the away games, now you're getting a fresh Kyrie coming at you full steam. Now you can let him basically have the whole first quarter of every game that he comes back and plays.
So what you have to look at is matchups too. So honestly, people don't look at it. And this guy I'm about to talk about, he is older, but he is able to thrive in his position because he's accepted this role early. Andre Iguodala, early in his career, had the potential to be a B-level star, all-star. He had all the tools. He was athletic. He was smart. He had point guard skills. His jumper was okay, and he reduced his role to say, okay, I'm going to be this defensive nigga.
He was a hell of a defender.
Yeah, he still is. And when you look at, I watched the game 6 earlier against OKC in 2016 when the Thunder went up 3-1, and Andre Iguodala took Kevin Durant out the rest of that series. Kevin Durant was struggling trying to score against Andre Iguodala. Same way LeBron was struggling against Andre Iguodala in 2015 in the finals. He put up a bunch of numbers, but he shot 37% because Andre Iguodala's defense is crazy. So,
but you don't think KD's bag is so much different than that KD's
no, I
bag?
I don't think
KD is a different.
I don't think KD's bag is that much different. I think KD has always been that nigga. Like, KD is smooth. He can score. He's all these things. But Golden State, they know his game. Iguodala guarded him in practice for 3-4 years. He's still a great defender in spurts. So KD's still going to eat. But do I see him just murdering Golden State like that? I don't. I don't see James Harden murdering Golden State either. Kyrie is the one that's going to go off. But Golden State, they're the best defensive team in the league. They got young, healthy bodies. They got a bunch of bodies to throw at those guys, young guys. They're scrappy. They shoot the three very well. Steph Curry, you already know he can go off for 11 threes. Klay Thompson coming back. I'm picking Golden State, man. Golden State in 6.
Okay, but all I was saying was, hey, he can't play in home games.
Right.
So Kyrie will be present for the Golden State games.
Right.
And with a fresh Kyrie coming off a rest, where Steph Curry got to go and try to win one in Brooklyn and then come back home and deal with a fresh Kyrie.
Right.
It won't be a problem.
I think that Kyrie only got to get one in Golden State to pull it off.
Golden State can get 2 in Brooklyn, though. They're a great road team. They're battle-tested. They're championship. They could get both of those games. You got to remember. Let's remember this fact.
But Draymond's injured. You getting Klay Thompson back right
now. Draymond will be okay in the playoffs. So this is a fact right here. Steph Curry he's undefeated against James Harden and Kevin Durant in the playoffs. Kevin Durant and James Harden has not beat Steph Curry in the playoffs. Neither one of them. They have yet to do that. So they have to. Kyrie has. We seen what he did. We seen what Kyrie did.
Kyrie hit that shot on that boy.
But Kevin Durant gave up a 3-1 lead to Steph Curry.
Okay, James but Kyrie, I'm talking about Kyrie, and I feel like Kyrie gonna come in and he gonna have Steph Curry number. Steph Curry in big moments, man, has faded.
No,
this is why niggas like Andre Iguodala got a Finals MVP.
No, that was bogus. Steph Curry averaged 26 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists in that Finals. How was he not the Finals MVP? Come on.
You feel like he deserved it?
He definitely deserved the Finals MVP. He had a bad start. He had a bad start to the series.
But like we said earlier, we're talking about hypotheticals here. Or we're talking about what really happened.
That was
what
bullshit.
Really happened was Andre Iguodala.
Hey, Ronnie, I think Steph Curry might be a little traumatized, man. I don't think he
what?
See Kyrie, man. I think Steph Curry might be a little traumatized.
I'm a fan of both. I'm an equal fan. I love Kyrie and Steph, so I'm not going to be biased against either one of them because I love both of those guys' game. Like I'm a big fan of Kyrie and Steph. So
well, Steph's better. Right.
Yeah, Steph is better, but Kyrie, I think, individually might be more skilled overall.
Is better?
Steph is a better player. Steph is a better player.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna tell you why I think Steph is better. Steph, to me,
skill wise, you think that he has
no, he's a better player.
To me, this is what makes Steph better than Kyrie right here.
I agree with that.
Steph, unlike any offensive player ever, and I love Kobe, and how I feel about Jordan, even though I'm not a fan, I respect Jordan. I think those are the 2 best offensive players ever.
Man, be quiet,
by far.
You know
what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is Steph.
Ronnie be saying some shit.
He's a threat.
He's biased.
He's a threat as soon as he cross half court. And no other player has ever been a threat as soon as they cross half court like that. And when you watch a Golden State game, when you watch it closely and you watch Steph without the ball and watch the whole team's eyes is on what he's doing, the reason why Draymond is able to get in the lane and get those lobs to other players and make those plays because everybody's fucking watching Steph Curry. So he could be 2 for 30 and they're still going to jump out at that 3-point line if he fake.
He's more of an impact.
He's a more of an impact than Kyrie. Kyrie may be better handles, better finishing, but no one has ever impacted the game like Steph Curry in NBA history. Ever.
He's dangerous without the rock, like you just said.
Just as dangerous.
Even when he's having an off night, you still have to watch him because he can turn it on at any time.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
He make 2-3 of those things, and it's over for you.
Exactly.
And he's gonna play. And he's gonna play like 25 years too.
Right. Exactly. Sure. And he don't get tired.
Hey, but Kyrie got the deepest bag in the league when it comes to handles, and Steph Curry got bad ankles, so that don't match. That don't match. You know what I'm saying? So Curry might get put on them skates, boy, and I don't think he gonna want them problems.
Man, hey, let's talk about putting people on skates, man. What's up with your President Joe Biden, man? With this Dr. King's assassination did not have the worldwide impact that George Floyd's death did.
You see, but but that's because we didn't check that nigga when he went on the Breakfast Club and said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black.
Yeah,
we let him do that shit. And then guess what? We went and voted that nigga in after that shit. So we think that he got free reign to say shit like this to us.
Man, Joe Biden is 107, man. He don't know what he be saying, man. You can't even believe in him. That motherfucker retarded, man. He's senile. He don't know what the fuck he talking about.
But they write this. They have writers. They have speech writers. He's not like Trump. Trump went up there.
No, he read it wrong. He read it wrong. He had to read that wrong.
He a grown ass man, man. You looked at this shit and had to be like, man, what the fuck?
No, but they usually read off the teleprompter. So why this nigga read off the paper?
Man, he a grown ass man.
When did they change the rules for this nigga?
He is a grown ass man. First of
all, how do you compare something that happened, what, 60 years ago? I'm bad with math right now. When social media and white and black people, we were more segregated till now.
Right.
As of recent, it makes no sense to me. It's like, man, sometimes I think you might have to question. I'm gonna leave it there, man. We're gonna, the political stuff is
at
deep,
the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's a re-election. His numbers is dropping.
You voted for him, though, right? Y'all voted for him.
Yes,
right?
Yes, I did.
I
did too.
I voted for Joe Biden.
I voted for a random. I couldn't see myself voting for either of those guys. I couldn't do it.
Okay.
So you basically threw your vote away?
Yeah, I threw my vote away. I couldn't vote for Trump or Biden. I couldn't put a hand. Both of them were equally bad. And
do you know you have the opportunity or the option to not vote at all?
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm saying for presidency, but you don't have to answer.
So you don't have to answer that. I was really voting to vote on all the propositions and stuff like that.
Like the measures and stuff. Like those are important too.
Yeah, that's the shit I focused on for the presidential.
Those are the working politics.
Yeah,
tangible politics. Yeah, for sure.
As far as president, like I already did my research. Like I don't consider myself to be Democratic or Republican. You're
an independent.
Yeah, I agree with both parties on certain things, but as far as the individuals, they want to talk about Trump a racist. Trump, okay, yeah, Trump is a racist, but Trump say that shit. Trump, he don't hide behind and act like he fuck with us like that. Trump fuck with money. We all know that. Trump fuck with money. So Biden, though, try to act like he for the people and we gonna do this different and all this other motherfucker. I know what you was doing in the 90s. I know what you were.
You think he's slightly race-based? You think he's slightly race-based?
Yes, he you know what I'm saying? Like Biden don't mess with us like the Clintons. The Clintons don't mess with us, man. Hillary Clinton told everybody that we were super predators. Black men are super predators.
Mass incarceration era.
Mass incarceration. They signed off on the 3-strike era or the you know what I'm saying?
Okay, but I think that's a misperception because black people always say, "Oh, that nigga don't fuck with us." But how many white friends you got? Do that make you racist?
We can't be racist by definition. Black people
how many white people do you deal with on a regular? How many white people do you deal with on a regular personally?
That's not fair.
It just depends. Yeah, it's not fair. It just depends, Calum.
We don't.
It's about environment. Yeah, it's about environment.
But what you got to realize on some real shit. Black people, we're the most accepting race. We don't just be hating motherfuckers for no reason. Motherfuckers have to done something to us. We don't just breed hate. We don't teach hate. We don't teach our kids to hate white people. We don't
But
teach
hate
our
it. But a lot of times, hate is fear,
we know
and hate and fear can be sometimes perceived as different things, but a lot of the times it's the same thing. They
a
hate you
lot of
because they fear you.
okay, that don't give you an excuse to hate. You got to change that up. You got to do some research. You got to do some if you fearing
Okay,
it,
but they know that black people are scared of the system, and black people are scared of the system because we've been over here for 500 years and ain't learned the damn system. We're still illiterate to the damn system called capitalism, that we can't get no money, and we feel like the system is opposed to us instead of learning what capitalism is and capitalizing. We don't learn what a republic is. We don't learn the functioning branches of a government. We got we voting for a city councilman, but do you know what a city councilman does? We're voting for a Senate seat, but do you know how the Senate is run?
So what
I
is the
mean,
lack of communication attributed? What is the lack of communication attributed to? I mean, because I hear you. I hear you.
I'm
I hear you.
saying that.
Hold on. Let me finish.
Okay, go
Let me
ahead.
finish.
Go ahead.
I hear you. I hear although those are statements. No one's gonna disagree with those. But I got two questions. What is that largely attributed to? And what can people like you who want to be pillars in the community for knowledge when it comes to learning government and learning laws and stuff like that? I mean, where do you stand on that? Like,
That
where do you integrate?
that is exactly where why I started politicking, is because I wanted to talk about politics, but not necessarily talk to politicians about it. I wanted the average Joe to have these conversations about politics and become informed. So my whole platform, my whole basis was to, hey, draw you in with the, hey, let's talk about the Lakers. Hey, let's talk about the hip hop shit. But did you see what's going on in politics? No. Okay, well, let me tell you, let me explain what's going on, and let's get your take on how you feel about it, since now you understand what's going on. I can't
Okay.
change the world, but I can spark the mind of somebody that can change the world. So it starts with a conversation. Hey, do you know what this is? No. Then why not? I was we did an episode where we talked about cops, and we were talking about qualified immunity, and how because you're doing a murder or on behalf of the state as a police officer, that you can't be sued personally when you beat the case. So if I get acquitted or found not guilty of murdering this guy, and I'm a cop, and the family tries to sue me personally, there's something called qualified immunity that blocks them from being personally sued. And this is why the cops get away with murder, and they don't lose any of their assets or anything. Actually, they're rewarded financially with early retirement most of the time, where they get access to the pension and all the shit that they was gonna get in retirement early. And now that they have access to this, you with qualified immunity, you can't sue them. Stuff like that is crucial because we're fighting for voters' rights. No, we're fighting for all this other shit. If we get qualified immunity out of there, then the cops ain't gonna be killing us because they know that even if they don't go to jail, we're gonna take their whole house, we're gonna clear their bank accounts, we're gonna sue them for everything that they got.
No, they know they're
It,
going to be secure. Yeah. So
yeah, they
yeah,
I
know.
mean
yeah. That's a
that
cushion, definitely.
I mean that all sounds nice and it sounds cool, but the reality of it is this system is not broken. This system is not something that we can fix.
No, it's
This system,
designed.
it was
It's a design.
intentionally built this way. It's intentionally built
Mm-hmm.
to oppress, okay? And
Mhm.
they built this thing from ground up, and they just keep changing the way they're doing things because they know they can't blatantly just say or do certain things. So they got to keep concealing it and do it in a more hidden manner. So
well, what you do is you just create an agenda.
Right. So
I mean, it's
I'm
simple.
not
You
saying
stick
this to
to it.
say, I ain't saying this to say that we should stop trying. You know what I'm saying? I love, how Kalum think. Yeah, let's keep on trying. Let's keep on trying to infiltrate the system. But I think it was intentionally built like that, and we can't fix that. We don't have what it takes to fix that.
I don't think that you're not really capturing what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like I have a job, and I use my job to finance my entrepreneur ventures.
Right.
So we need to use as America like it's our job, since it's a capitalistic system. We need to figure out how to capitalize, gain the capital, and then put that capital into our own shit. Because until then, we have no plan. And if our plan is to just exist in America until they get rid of us, we're gonna exist in America until they get rid of us. And that's gonna
I
be
know,
the
but
history
Caleb,
of
where does
black
that
people.
start? But Caleb, where does that start, man? Like,
Mhm.
again, like, I mean, I can agree with your statements, but where does this happen? Like, how do we fix things grassroots? Where does it start?
So
Where does reform begin to start? Is what I'm asking.
so one thing that I want to do is I want to make a manifesto. And in this manifesto, I want to go through every position that they have available in government and what they do and how what the requirements are for you to have this position. And I just want it to
Okay.
be just strictly like that, but broken down in layman's terms so that we have some type of written piece or some type of something that our people could go to and say, okay, if I want to be a congressman, this is what I need, and this is what a congressman does. So
It'll
that
never
we have
happen.
some type basic understanding of what's going on. We don't have a specific book that we can tap into to learn about these things. So we will have to
No,
go.
we lack resources.
Yes. So that's where I would want to start is simply just a manifesto. This is information that's out in the government. All we need to do is put it together and put it out.
We got to
And
stop
I feel
killing
like
each other
that's a
first, though,
real
right, Ronnie?
Man, I mean, yeah. I mean, that would be nice. That would be nice if we could do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
If we could.
if we could, yeah.
You see how defeated that sounds?
And yeah, because I mean, the reality of it is, I mean, it sounds all nice, but we got to talk about how we got there. We got to talk about how we got there, and no one wants to acknowledge that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to label these hoodlums and all these people, but no one wants to talk about what happened, how they got there, man. No one wants to go
We
back
need
to.
to take account. I agree. We need to talk about
You know,
accountability too,
America
though.
needs to take
We
accountability
have
for
no,
creating
we do
gangsters and
no.
stuff.
We
No,
well,
no,
no.
no,
We
not,
as
no, not
a
us,
culture.
not us yet. No, we do too. We do too. But they do first. See, the problem is white America doesn't want to take accountability. They built this shit. They were denied the blacks on after segregation and after slavery became segregation. After segregation, during segregation, blacks weren't allowed to get homes, to buy homes. They were denied
Well,
home loans
no.
in credit. You know how credit worked? Credit is brand new. Credit didn't start. Credit reports and shit didn't start till 1989. So how do you think
Yes,
credit worked?
it's an economic wealth gap. I mean,
You think
it's very
black
intentional.
person a black person wasn't getting a word of mouth credit referral back in the day. So we didn't have we were pushed to the ghettos and created. So what you put a bunch of poor motherfuckers with no resources around each other, of course, what is it gonna create? So that didn't fucking finish us off. That just started it. Then they came and dropped crack in the hood. They dropped crack in the hood and really created a war zone. So now we had blacks back in the day when we were getting raped, our women were getting raped, our men were getting killed. We've been dealing with trauma since the beginning. So we never healed from that trauma. Men were getting raped. Oh, let's talk about how homosexuality spread. They was raping. There was some of them dudes was gay, raping the men too. So we've been dealing with trauma forever. So 20 generations of trauma, it ain't just as simple as we got to stop killing each other. They have to take accountability first. Then we take accountability, and then we can improve. But you can't keep telling black people to take accountability when white America won't take accountability. They won't. Why do we got to take accountability?
Ronnie, but Ronnie, as a person, and I'm gonna ask you personally, why is you taking accountability for your actions? Why is that dependent on somebody else taking accountability for theirs?
Not me, myself. I'm not talking about myself because I'm not out killing nobody. So I'm not talking about myself.
No. It was, but I was just putting it in context, though, Ronnie.
Right.
So what I'm saying is that we already know that we're not going to take accountability for it. So why continue to wait for that and to continue just to recite the history? Everything that you just said, we know the history. When are we going to start taking accountability? Is what I'm asking.
But hold on. You just said we know the history. No. People don't know the history, first of all, because they won't acknowledge it. So you have to know the history first.
I think that he answered your question, Ken. He started off by saying
more people know than not.
He's saying that we're not going to take accountability until they do, and that was a direct quote. So they're never going to take accountability. So black people are never going to take accountability in return.
So just keep killing each other.
But it ain't that simple. We all understand the streets. Mm-hmm. So with all the stuff I just said, created the gangsters and shit. So now we got 40-year-old beefs with a lot of these hoods that I tell people all the time as a regular nigga. If someone killed my father or anyone dear to me, and I knew that person was walking the street, and I'm not out there in the streets, and I knew that person that killed my relative, you don't think I'm about to go take vengeance? Hell motherfucking yeah. So you tell a sick person, a person who grew up around gunshots, and a person who grew up around this shit, that uncle got killed by somebody that's growing up listening to this shit all these years, they finally become a young nigga with a strap. That shit ain't going nowhere. These people,
hey, you Ronnie, you sound like you a part of the streets, man. You just said that was a cold narration right there, wasn't it? But see, Ronnie, I get all that. Okay, Ronnie's a street dude now, but no, I'm just messing with you. But check me out. So through trauma, you're basically saying we don't know, we can't decipher what's right or wrong.
We can't tell a sick mind to think normally.
We're doomed.
We can't tell a sick mind. How are we going to expect a sick person to think normally? A non-rational person to think rational?
So then we just have no hope.
But we have rational. We have rational people.
Got hope.
We have rational people, and we have sane people in our culture. So isn't it their responsibility to go and pick those people up? You see, hold on, Ronnie. You act like there's no refuge. There's no refuge.
So listen. You actually think that we could reach a lot of some of these youngsters that don't want to listen to shit? Even when the whole Nipsey thing happened, when he got smoked, they did the whole treaty thing. You had the 40s and 60s talking at the whole shit. I'm thinking, like I said, I'm not in it. So, I talked to another one of my niggas, and I'm like, yeah, it's good to see these niggas, coming together for one purpose. And he like, nigga, that shit bullshit. And he showed me the page that he followed and watched all these other niggas from all this hood talking about fuck that piece shit. Fuck that nigga, cuz this and that, blood, this and that. Like, nah, we ain't with that. Like, you can't tell these little niggas nothing. You can't tell these youngsters nothing, man. I'm not saying it's no hope, but to the people that out there that says something as simple as we need to stop killing each other, I think that's ignorant as hell.
I think it's more, less than a statement. It's more.
But don't we though? But don't we though?
But it's lack of opportunity. Yeah. I think that boils down to all of this.
Yeah.
Is that everybody is fighting and killing and stealing and dealing for the same opportunities, and they're not looking at jobs as opportunities. They're not looking at school as opportunities. They're looking at the few opportunities that they have within hip hop, within sports, and within the streets. And this is the options for a young black man. You're either gonna go play some sports, right. You're gonna go to the streets, and a job is kind of like when all the other shit fail, then you go get a job. So I know black men that didn't get their first job to 42, 45. So now you starting your work career, you're starting to actually gain skills. You're starting to actually learn how to be a worker because you can't learn how to be a boss until you learn how to work.
Yeah, I think you know what
Uh,
I think we're. I think all three of us, man. I mean, honestly, I think we're all slightly hypocrites because we all do hip hop journalism and we actually promote, don't we? When you really
yeah,
sit back and contextualize it, like, man, like
because we got to
on the
change the
flip
culture.
side,
We got to change the
we
Gotta
can't
culture.
change
though.
the culture.
I know.
I know.
But
Yeah.
I'm saying, but we all get we all get compensated for promoting everything that we know is a detriment to our culture, though. It's Chris's vicious cycle, man. I'm just sitting there
It
Mhm.
is.
listening to both of y'all talking, man, and honestly, I agree. We all share the same sentiments, man. But it's like we're still trying to thrive and are thriving in
You
a
see, but
culture that just is
I think
dilapidated.
we look at hip hop as entertainment. These young niggas hip hop look at hip hop as a lifestyle. So for us, it's just entertainment. We're just being entertained for the moment.
Right.
No,
Like
hip hop is my lifestyle. I'm a hip hop
or
head.
for okay, well, yeah, you grew up
I'm
in
not a
it.
street dude though, but
For
for
us,
sure.
like music never really had like a long shelf life. This is why the mixtape era was so like prevalent in our era is because music had a short life. You can't and out you couldn't give 5 albums out in 3 years, but you can give out an album and four mixtapes in that lifespan. So it was like trying to feed the people who overconsume, because that's the thing is that we overconsume. We like a song and we listen to it 100 times in a week, and then 3 months from now, we no longer are receptive to that song because we overconsumed it.
Facts.
You go to the
So you think
you
it's
go to uh-huh.
so you
I
think
I
gotta
it's
get
don't
on
time
know
to
this song.
to what you say.
I say I gotta
you
get on
think
this
you think
homework.
it's
I got 3 assignments due before 12.
All right, yeah,
three is
that's true.
Ronnie? You go to school?
Yep.
Where you go to school at? Man, you getting your GED? Congratulations, man. Ronnie's getting his GED. Ronnie's almost 40 getting the GED.
It's much closer to getting the
Yeah.
GED, man. I'm almost
Bro,
there,
you really
man.
getting your GED?
Nah, I'm getting my bachelor's.
Man, I was like, GED. I've been talking to this Negro this long. He ain't got a GE, at least a GED. Oh,
Hey,
man.
I graduated from adult school. I got an
Yeah,
adult
me
school
too.
diploma.
Me too.
You took like dental assistant too. Like that was a part of your like at adult school, like an occupational center.
uh, you got a
We got
bunch
it
of
done though.
ROP credits to get it done. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
But man, it was dope talking to y'all fellas, man. We gotta
Yeah, we gotta do it again, Ken.
Hell yeah.
we just freestyled and just caught up with each other. I didn't want to call it a podcast. It's a live talk because we can always go down the podcast later and talk about more specific topics and stuff like that. That's the easy. I didn't want to
Yeah.
write nothing up, man.
No, this was
So
dope,
hmm
man.
Yes, sir.
good, man. All right, fellas. So y'all want to end it with anything? Shout out y'all brands, and then we out.
All
Yes,
right.
sir. So, you know,
Go ahead, Ronnie.
shout out to the squad, man, to everybody that's been rocking. We've been on a journey for the last couple of years, and we got more to come. So I want to give a shout out to everybody. It's too many people to name that have been rocking with us and fucking with us and developing relationship with us. You know, Politic and Broadcast, HNS 420. You know, we want to keep everything going. Ken Chronicles, shout out to everybody that's down with us, and we're going to keep it going.
One thing I want to say and really get off my chest is that in 2022, I'm gonna be real hard to reach. A lot of people that have access to me, you no longer have access, and you won't know until you try to access me, and then you gonna know. No longer. So I'm real intentional and deliberate on what this year is gonna be and what we're gonna do with it. And as far as politicking, we're coming back tomorrow. What's that? Yeah, we coming back tomorrow night, 8:30, live, Instagram, YouTube, everything.
Let's
We're
go.
gonna be back every Wednesday, 8:30. We're back on our politic and shit. So if you want to get informed about what's going on and not just hear a bunch of niggas talk about bitches fucking their homeboys and other shit that these weird podcasts talk about, you know what I'm saying? Tap into Politic and the Podcast Wednesday nights, 8:30,
Mm-hmm.
everywhere, audio, Politic and radio.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Kalum for allowing me to host our talk tonight, man. It was well overdue. Ken Chronicles Media is up and well, alive and thriving. And shout out to YBI, their group that I do exclusive media for. We got shows around the city. We're networking. We got 3 singles that's out right now. Stepping in. We got Get To It featuring Ike, the writer, and actually we got Belichick that's gonna drop Friday, man. So I want everybody to be on the lookout for their wave because hey, they're definitely coming to a city near y'all. Shout out to Grindface. I'm writing over there at Grindface as well as still publishing on Ken Chronicles Media. You can check out all my content, link in the bio, and that's it. More interviews coming up, and yeah, I'm working.
Yes, sir.
All right, and we out.
For sure.